slice. One pop into the net.
The Havoc Zone, only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app. WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This hour is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, Alabama's F-150 Superstore. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll.
And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
And a very pleasant, good Wednesday evening to you. Welcome into The Drive. I am live here inside the Iceplex, right off Lehman Ferry, getting ready for some playoff hockey tonight. We're walking you up to the Huntsville Havoc first playoff game, taking on the Evansville Thunderbolts. Myself and Joe Hunk will have the call there. And Wes Neighbors is back in the studios of 97.7 ESPN The Zone. It's been a very eventful day for us here at 97.7 ESPN The Zone because our morning show, which I was listening to very closely, was talking in code because they could not really say the breaking news that would officially came out at 10:15 this morning. And that is Samford has themselves a brand new head men's basketball coach. And I am happy to report that let's talk to the brand new man in charge there for the Bulldogs. Lenny Acuff is kind enough to join us right off the top. How are you, Coach? Congratulations.
Thank you, Steve. Good to hear from you. Hope everything's good in Huntsville, Alabama.
Yes, sir, it is. It's this is just another ho-hum year for Lenny Acuff as he is Coach of the Year in the A-Sun and now heading down to the 205. I know that place in particular that you're heading to. Boy, I can think of a lot of special memories that you have had in that building already, Coach.
Yeah, it is. First off, thank you, Steve. It's good to be with you, and I'm very thankful. I'm actually already here and working. I got a lot of work to do. The last 72 hours have been a lot. Been a lot of emotion and a lot of thoughts and a lot of things that go into all this. It's not easy, particularly when you're somewhere that you really enjoyed and somewhere that you cared about the kids and the administration. But I'm really excited to be at Samford. Glad to be back in Alabama. Alabama's home. And really thankful for that and thankful for the opportunity. And I think there's obviously Bucky did an incredible job here. And I think there's a ton of potential and just glad to be home.
Well, tell me a little bit more about that 72-hour period and just the ultimate decision on going from Nashville to Birmingham. What made it just so appealing for you, Coach?
Yeah, well, honestly, when I went to bed Saturday night, I would have said there's a 99.9% chance that I was going to finish my career at Lipscomb. I mean, I had no interest in leaving. I'd actually been contacted about 2 or 3 other jobs that really I wasn't interested in. They were good jobs, but I just didn't think they were right for me. And then, this deal with Bucky went down, and at 6:00 Sunday morning, Mark Newton, the athletic director here, reached out to me and asked if we could visit, and we did. And we met on Sunday, and I met with the president and the athletic director and Corey Green, our associate AD. And then on Monday afternoon, we met again, and then we kept moving forward. And then I went back to Nashville yesterday and met with our administration and ultimately decided I wanted to come to Samford. And I think first off, I was very happy at Lipscomb and so thankful for that opportunity. It's a great place with great people and love coaching there. Forever grateful for that opportunity. But this was a chance. My daughter Molly lives here right down the street from Samford. Will coaches at Montevallo, and he's in town. And it also gets Kelly, my wife, 3.5 hours closer to her family. And I love Birmingham. And so I've got a lot of good friends here. And I know you've been on this campus many years. You guys have the UAH Invitational every year down here for the Gulf South Tournament. And you call those games and you know it's an unbelievably gorgeous campus and beautiful facilities and ones they continue to invest in. And so, you know, I'll be honest with you, Steve, other than a Power 5 job, there was probably not another job in the country I'd have any interest in other than this one. And so just thankful to be here and looking forward to getting started.
You mentioned Coach, that. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, so congratulations. Great to have you back in Alabama. So when you make a decision like that, I mean, you say there's a lot of emotion. It has to be, if you're really, really happy somewhere to leave, it's like it's kind of like jumping off a mountain, right?
No doubt. You know, and here's the thing. If it was easy, then I've done a bad job where I was. I mean, that's just the reality. If you can just walk out and just feel, oh, this is easy, I'll never miss anybody here, or you have no relationships of any depth, then you obviously have not done a good job. And we had a good thing going there. We had incredible kids, and I love my AD, and the administration and the board was very supportive. And, you know, it was hard, and I'm glad it was hard. I mean, talking to those kids today, I mean, you know, Steve was a big part of UH basketball when I was there, and he's still a big part. And I mean, when you go in and tell kids that you spent a lot of time with, and honestly, if it wasn't for them, you wouldn't have this opportunity. And you tell them, hey, I'm going to be leaving, and it's going to affect them. I mean, that's hard, but I also know that, you know, I don't know if there's any things in life that you look back and say, I just should have just sat tight. You know, I didn't want to look back and say coulda, woulda, shoulda. And so just really thankful and grateful for the opportunity.
You mentioned the portal, Coach. Talking with Lenny Acuff, the new head men's basketball coach at Samford, and you mentioned that portal, and it opened up right in the middle of the tournament. That's something that you were a part of as well there with Lipscomb. It was only their second trip to the big dance in the history of the school. Tell me a little bit more about dealing with this portal now that you're just hours into the job, Coach. What is this like for you right now, Coach?
Well, we've got one player, so we only need 12 more. And so, we're in good shape. It's a different world, guys. Boy, Wes, don't you wish when you were playing that the compensation, at least above board, was like it is now? Guys, our best player at Lipscomb, he's at the University of Washington. He went in the portal and he just committed to them. And if I told you that they're paying him, you would drop the phone. I mean, I was like, you better tell them to send that contract today and sign it while that offer is good. It's different. It really is. But I do think Samford, we were able to do it at Lipscomb. I think these are places you can get kids that are there for the right reasons. You know, you have to be competitive in that financial space, and I think we have ability to do that here. But also, you want kids that want to be here for the right reasons. And you know what? It's still a team sport. I mean, you know, you want to get guys that value winning. That's just what I told one of the young men that were in here. And I said, look, I want guys here that want to win. I want guys that care about the right stuff. And if everything's about money and you, then we're probably not going to G-Haul. And so I think you have to attack it that way and just be real honest on the front end.
So, Coach, when you look at these, talking about NIL, what do you think the Division I colleges are paying overall for their 13 players?
Yeah, I would think at the highest level, Wes, you're probably talking $7 to $9 million. I would think in that ballpark. Some of them more, but I bet if you took the Power 4 and maybe the Big East, you're probably talking $7 to $9 million is probably their. And I know some of them have to be more. That House settlement that did not pass the other day that's still pending is a big deal because it basically what that'll do, that'll basically create a salary cap. But I still think that's a long way from being put to bed. So it's really an incredibly difficult situation to navigate. I thought somebody's you're trying to build a plane as you're flying it, and nobody really knows what the rules are, what the guidelines are, and all I know is by next year when we start school, we need to have 13 kids that want to be at Samford and want to try to win basketball games, and I promise you we're going to work really hard to get that done.
So in terms of high school recruits to the portal, Where do you find that happy medium? How difficult of a tightrope is this to walk for you, Coach?
Well, I think it is really important. I think you have to try to figure out your sweet spot. I would like to have high school kids. I would like to have several of them, and I think those are the guys. But they've got to be willing to work while they wait at times. It's really, really, really hard to come in and play as a freshman anywhere. I mean, it's really hard. And if they're not willing to kind of walk through that, then they probably are going to end up leaving on you. But I do think there's better high school players out there now than there's ever been that haven't been recruited just because of the portal. But, really what you've created, guys, you've created the pro baseball model, okay?
Yeah.
Where you when you go, and I've told kids this that want to play, I said, just get in the system. Just sign as an unrestricted free agent. Get to junior college. And then, if you do well in junior college or, as a Division III school, then, maybe you can get to a Division II school. And if you play well, then maybe you can get to a lower level Division I school, and then maybe a mid-major. And then, that's really what you've created. If you play well in AA, you go to AAA. And that's really where we are now. I mean, this will be 36 years for me coming up, guys. I've done a long time.
Wow.
There's a lot of things that's not good about it, but it's your new reality. And, and what you learn is, in light of new information, you have to have a new opinion and a new way of doing things. And because if you don't, you're not going to survive. You're just not.
Talking to Lenny Acuff right now. And Coach, I saw you and your wife there at the Final Four there in San Antonio. And boy, I can't help but ask of the games that you saw there, especially Houston's big comeback against Duke. What was your takeaway of the Saturday games there in the Final Four, Coach?
High level basketball, Steve. That was big boy basketball. And, I've been on the NABC board for a long time, and I was actually the president last year. So you're fortunate. One of the best perks of that deal is you get really good tickets at the Final Four, and just to be 30 feet away from all that. It was. I mean that is really good teams now. I mean, you guys saw how good Alabama was against Duke. I mean, I think Alabama was really good, and I thought they were hanging on for dear life all night against those guys. They were so talented, and and I was really pulling hard for Auburn and Bruce and those guys. I really wanted them to get to the championship. And I thought they had the best of it for about 25 minutes, but boy, I tell you, Florida was good. And so those were 3 great basketball games. The Houston comeback might have been in the circumstances there, that might have been as good a comeback as I've ever seen. I mean, it was unbelievable to be in that building and watch that firsthand.
So, Coach, what I thought is Houston played about as bad in that game as Alabama played at times, but they hit their shots, like hit 3 3-pointers right before the half, knocked it to 6 points from where it was 14, and then at the end of the game just totally outplayed them, but they hit their shots, and that's what you have to do to win those kind of games.
Yeah.
If you're not shooting, you're done.
Well, that you're right, Wes. They were hanging on for dear life most of that game.
Yeah.
I mean, every time that they were down for the 9 count several times, and somebody would just jump up and make a 3. You're exactly right. Threes they hit right there in the half, got them back in the game, and then they go down 14 with 9 minutes to go, and we're thinking about just leaving.
I quit watching it.
Next thing, yeah. I mean, and then there's a 3, and and then an 1, and they're like that.
They're
thing,
fighters.
You can't get away.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Tough kids, and but then on Monday night it kind of flipped on them. I mean, they were the better team the whole game.
Yep.
And down the stretch, they didn't make any plays, and Florida made every play. And I tell you, that guard from Florida, Clayton, is he's a good player. Oh, he's good. And so great games, great for college basketball, and and now I'm trying to figure out how to make this work here at Sanford, but really thankful to be here, and it's a great place with a lot of tradition, and just really glad to be back in Alabama, and I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely, Coach. Well, I know it's a busy time for you. It did remind me, though, Coach, of a former UAH coach that told me a long time ago that when that ball goes through the cylinder, good things are going to happen. So,
yep. And I need to find some of those guys. Everybody can shoot them. I need guys that can make them. That's what you're looking for. So, hey, guys, I've got to jump in here with
yes, sir.
Thanks,
Sir.
Coach.
And thank you so much for the
you
time.
You guys are the best. You'll be seeing a lot more of them.
Yes, sir.
Sounds good.
Absolutely. Anything we can do to help, give us a holler, Coach.
Same here. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
That is Lenny Acuff, the new head coach there at Samford, right out of the gate. He is, he just got through doing 3 consecutive years of 20-win seasons at Lipscomb. And so it's a big get for Samford. I just
Are you surprised, Steve, though? I'm surprised.
So a little, but not. I just that there's been some chirping, honestly, over the last week that I've been like, ever since Bucky left at Texas A&M, I knew their first choice was the guy we just talked to. So I knew it. So it didn't come completely out of left field, but there was a lot of nervous folks thinking that there was another UAH coach, and he was on that list, but they got their number one guy. So, and I'm happy for Lenny and his family. And as he mentioned, he's right next door to Montevallo. That's where Will is the assistant coach to Coach Camara. And of course, and a former coach here as well for the UAH Chargers. In fact, he was Lenny's replacement. And then it's pretty cool to know that Molly's in the area down there too.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like Mama might have had a lot to do with that decision too.
How many decisions did Miss Terry make back in the day?
All of them.
I mean, I don't know if you saw the news in regards to Nick Saban today, but he is set to be inducted into the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame. So there's that as well out there. But we'll talk a little more round ball with Richard Hendricks coming up here in about 10 minutes time, but we have time to squeeze in a call or two. Crimson Carl has called in and says he has a rebuttal to Coach Acuff. What do you got for me, Crimson Carl?
Hey, man, I went to middle school with that guy, and he was always a class act, and happy for all the stuff that's coming to him. I mean, he paid his dues. I wish I could have talked to him. He probably doesn't know me, but I know the whole team that played back at Davis Hills Middle School, which is no longer around. But I'm just happy for the guy. I mean, he does a good job, always has. So
yeah. Yeah, and I briefly touched on it as the GSE tournament flipped over to the campus of Samford. I want to say now for at least 10 years. It may be longer than that, but there for the longest time, it took us a while to win a game in the GSE tournament. I'll never forget the overtime win over Ouachita Baptist. I believe that was in 2003, I want to say that was. But but then he helped obviously build the foundation there at UAH, and it's been very successful under Coach Schulman and now under the first year head coach there of Mick Hedgespeth. So it's, but there is no doubt the foundation that he has built.
Oh, without a doubt. And, he's just been, back when I was at school with him, middle school, he was good guy.
Now, I've heard some tales about him at quarterback for J.O. Johnson back in the day.
Well, I left this area and went to high school in Cocoa Beach, Florida. Ooh. And I'll take the Cocoa Beach over J.O. Johnson any day.
Fair enough. Crimson Carl, it's great to hear from you, sir.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great day.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out. Richard Hendricks going to join us on the other side. It is The Drive here on a Wednesday. We'll be right back.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Ford Motor Company. From America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
Your Rocket City Trash Pandas are home for a total of 15 games in the month of April. Promotions include 4 fireworks shows, 2 bobblehead giveaways, 1 cat night, and even an appearance from Bluey to round out the month on April 27th. To get your tickets and learn more about everything going on at Toyota Field, check out TrashPandasBaseball.com.
This segment of The Drive is brought to you by Woody Anderson Ford, located online at WoodyAndersonFord.com with 2 locations, Hughes Road in Madison and Jordan Lane in Huntsville.
Wednesday edition of The Drive. Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you. Really cool to hear from Lenny Acuff as that news broke earlier today. In fact, 10:15 this morning, Sanford made it official. The man in charge is Lenny Acuff, following Bucky McMillan, who's now at Texas A&M. So we certainly do wish Lenny Acuff the best. But it's always fun to talk some hoops with our next guest as well. And Wes, I didn't alert you on this. Now, I don't know if our next guest is a third base coach right now, but I would venture to say at 6'8", it may be one of the taller third base Richard Hendricks is coaching baseball as well right now. Are you coaching third base right now?
No, I'm off tonight, but we had an early release day. They do that kind of stuff nowadays when it comes to schools. I don't know why. It seems like we never got out for snow days, rain days, any of this stuff. But we got a few hits in. You know, I'm actually, depending on the age, I'm the kid pitch guy. So I'm the guy that has all the pressure of not hitting an 8-year-old with the baseball.
Just don't hit your own son. Then you gotta go to sleep without it night.
Well, the problem is, with that one, he's had a few that he's hit back at me and hit it right up at me, and I can't get out of the way quick enough. But you can never make the perfect pitch to your own son. That's the difficulty in that age group. But I'm going to be either at the pitching mound or I'm going to be coaching first base. I can get you to the base, and that's where I stand when it comes to the kid coaching.
Fair enough. Well, Richard, it's always great to get you. I'm only kidding. I did want to dive into the Final Four with you and talked a little bit about that with Lenny Acuff. Actually, let me start there. What do you think of the hire that Sanford has made and Lenny Acuff taking over for Bucky McMillan?
Well, listen, I've known Coach Acuff for a long time, going back to when he was recruiting some of my teammates at the UAH when I was at Athens High School. Graham Adderholt played for him in the early 2000s, who was a really good player that played for us and played with me at Athens. And, he's been up here coaching at Lipscomb. And when I make my rounds in the preseason, he was actually the first practice that I went to this year to watch teams and see how they conduct their practices. And to see his team, win the A-Sun and make it to the NCAA tournament, it was no surprise to me. He's a guy who is well respected in the coaching circles, even when he was in the Division II level. But he runs a crisp practice. His players buy into what he teaches, and he's able to do it quickly. So, any decision he makes to go back to the state of Alabama and coach at Stanford, I know he will do an outstanding job. He will get the players to buy into what he's teaching, and they will play a really good brand of basketball that will always be competitive. So I'm happy for him, and I'm happy for his family.
Well, he said he's looking for players. He's got one right now. So I know he is on the hunt for some players. But that portal being open, we'll get to that here in a second. Let's dive into the Final Four and some high-level basketball there in San Antonio. Which of the three games was the best game, in your opinion, of the Final Four, Richard?
Well, I think you have to start with the Houston game against Duke. This was a game that if everyone saw how Duke was playing against Alabama in the Elite Eight, if you redid your bracket on a second chance, I think the Blue Devils were the team to beat. Florida had been struggling throughout the tournament to have the same level of performance that they have had in the SEC as of late. But the positional size and the talent that Duke showed in the Elite Eight, it seemed that they were unbeatable. But Houston, somehow, some way, with that grit, that determination, and Kelvin Sampson with that old school style of basketball was able to muscle it out and get it done, and almost able to pull out the national championship with that same rugged style. But I think that first game against Duke, to see a team come back from double digits with just a few minutes left on the clock and somehow get it done, that was remarkable. But all of the games in the Final Four were tremendous and a joy to watch.
Well, and then Houston held the lead, I believe, for over 30 minutes in the championship game. And Florida, but I mean, it feels like that was Florida's MO the entire year, Richard, where they would just be down. I think they trailed at one point at Georgia by 26, came back and got the lead before they lost to the Dogs. But this is just a pattern over and over. And I guess someone like Todd Golden is young enough to, control that as best he can.
Well, Todd Golden's a guy I've known a while, too. He played professionally in Israel around the same time that I was there. And he's always been a really good basketball mind and has his teams motivated. This year, I felt from the first time that I called them, which was in an early season non-conference game that they had against Arizona State. This was a team that you were able to see that they had something special about them, a chip on their shoulder. You go back to last year, and they played in the SEC tournament after playing really good basketball, and they were beat in the finals to Auburn. And mainly it was because Michael Hanlogden went down with a leg injury that took the air out of that team. And then they got beaten the first game in the NCAA tournament. You go to the preseason in SEC play, and the media and everyone is talking about Alabama, Auburn, Tennessee. And Florida was this team that you were just not really thinking about and not really talking about. And I believe this team had a silent chip on their shoulder from the open of the regular season, and they were able to play strong basketball all season and close it out.
And then, to the programs in this state, it is really remarkable but what both Alabama and Auburn accomplished this year. But how do they get to that next step? I know Auburn's gotten here twice to the semifinals. under Coach Pearl. What is that next step? Where do Alabama and Auburn need to attack, in your opinion, to get to that title game?
Well, to me, and I think it's always going to be this, and maybe I'm a little bit partial because this is the style of play that I was as a player, but you got to start with the front line. You got to have those big guys who are able to stop runs, that can close out defensive possessions with strong rebounds and be a threat with their back to the basket. If you look at the makeup of all of the teams that play in the Final Four, they're always able to play at multiple styles of the game. They can go up tempo, but they can also grind it out and beat you in a slow-paced game. And the physicality up under the boards is an area that you saw that all four of the teams that were in the Final Four, they had great positional size and toughness down low. Alabama's going to get up and down. They're going to shoot the three ball, but that's also a mentality thing that I think is something they're going to have to add to their arsenal to attack, to have that type of big man presence that can definitely slow the game down and grind it out. Because if it's not a shootout, you have to be able to win the close games. The national championship game was played in the 60s. So it lets you know when you get in a neutral site and you're not able to shoot these shots from the outside in a neutral site with new balls that are pumped up with so much air in them that they bounce to the roof, how can you win games when you're playing against the elite teams of the elite? And Alabama seemed to struggle at times only against a handful of teams that had the roster construction to play that way. And if I'm Alabama or if I'm Auburn, I would redo what they did. If they can find another Janai Broome, that would be huge. But that, to me, seems to be the recipe to get it done in the postseason play.
Yeah, I was reading where in these buildings that are built for football, where they play the basketball games, that the points go down by 12 to 15 points a game because of the because what you're talking about, the background is so hard for their shooters.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, the game has changed now. Obviously, when I was at Alabama, it was the way that the team like Houston played. You didn't have big guys shooting it from the outside. But as I played, 13 years professionally, that was something that I had in my game that you had to be able to adjust. And being able to shoot from the outside and play in pick and rolls and pick and pops, I realized that it was much difficult to shoot in a gym with the depth perception changes. And also when you have these neutral site venues where you don't get the practice time and the familiarity on those floors. So it's something that you definitely have to be able to shoot the ball. And that's a premium that you have on it. But you also have to have in your roster someone that can change up the pace. It's like we talked about baseball in the open. You can't throw fastballs all game. You're going to have to throw them a changeup every so often to keep the defense on their toes.
You can, but you're going to run out of balls, right? Eventually, going to be in the outfield.
Absolutely.
Over the fence. So when you look at what Alabama's done so far, I've been surprised Diabate went to Kentucky. I thought that was a guy that Alabama would fight to hold on to. And maybe they tried and he just wanted to go to Kentucky. So far, what do you think about what they've built so far in their roster?
Well, it seems like they've done some good things. I saw that the first acquisition that they had was obviously a 7-footer. He has some ability. I look at the tape and I see he has the ability to play with his back to the basket as well as stretch out on play on the perimeter. They also got a good pickup that has some perimeter skills and the versatility. I mean, the game has changed. I mean, you don't only want to have these guys who can play with their back to the basket. You do have to have personnel that can switch in pick and roll coverages, that can slide their feet in front of guards, that can take them on an island. And they have to have the athleticism to have some range to cover on the closeout if a team does put you in rotation. So they're doing some good things. Now, listen, it's not a criticism of what Nate Oates and Alabama's doing. I mean, you got a program that's been to the Sweet 16 or better, I believe, 3 out of the last 5 years. They're ranked in the top 5 consistently. They're recruiting McDonald's All-Americans. They are winning the SEC, and if they're not winning it, they're within a game of winning it every single year. So he has the recipe that's working. I just believe that there's one more tweak or something else that you can add to your toolbox that can make you have the ability to really be able to get over the hump and win a national championship, which I do believe they're devoted to doing.
Are you surprised about the people they've lost so far?
Nowadays, no, nothing surprises me.
I didn't word that right.
I mean, like you have to. It's, as they say, it's the wild, wild west. And for many of years, people criticized the coaches for jumping and said this is how it should be. And I'm the person that kind of leans against the old school, maybe because I'm a big believer that this is still college. At the end of the day, this is still college, and you're there for an education. And there are some positives that you have from the old system. And mainly when you talk about having some affiliation and a connection to a fan base and a school system and maybe a coach for a long period that can pay off for you down the rest of your life. I mean, you take this phone call. You give me a phone call because I played at the University of Alabama. I'm from Alabama. If you play for 4 different schools in 4 years, who wants to speak to you when it's all said and done? Who do you call for a reference? Which coach do you lean on that's going to trust you? I mean, so it's all turned into transactional situations, and I can't blame the players for doing it, but I would take a little bit more consideration if I was a player to look at the long view, not just the short term, because from the good players, they have an opportunity that can be professionals, may it be in the NBA or maybe it be overseas or whatnot. But after the ball stops bouncing, who are you going to give a call to when you don't have those options to reach back to people where the loyalty was there?
Wow. So some very wise advice. Wise advice there. This can't be sustainable, right? 14 teams into the big dance. I mean, this was a special year in SEC basketball. Is this at all sustainable?
I don't see why it can't be. I mean, with the portal, I mean, you have these teams that have the resources. The powerful 4 schools have been making a commitment to it. The coverage that you have from the SEC with the SEC Network and ESPN, this is something that players want to be a part of. I go back to my time in 2005 to 2008, and I believe that the conference still had really good players and really good coaches. Florida won back-to-back championships in 06 and 07, but the exposure that the league had was not what it is today. And the good players and the good coaches have seemed to want to flock to the Southeastern Conference, because you can be in a league that you're going to have outstanding following, you're going to be on the national spotlight, and it seems as if it's going to be a huge springboard to the NBA for some of the top players in the league. So I don't see why it can't continue. I'm sure teams are going to get better and better. The price for players will get better and better, and the budgets will have to continue to rise. And if that means something, that's good for me, because it's going to be a great game in the SEC every single night, whoever I'm assigned to.
All right, so I'm going to end it how I started with it. So when you're on the mound, I mean, do you do do you get hyped up and get ready for those pitches? Is it all fastballs? Are we talking eephus pitches?
I think when his son gets up, it's like the first time he played in a game at Alabama.
Let me tell you what you do. For anybody that's out there, kid pitching, that's sweating on the mound, and because I see a lot of dads out there, listen, don't even worry about it. Forget about it. Clear your head. Don't worry about the parents complaining behind it. Just act like you're standing there throwing darts. If you're trying to throw a ball like you're going to pitch, you're never going to find the proper speed. You're never going to be consistent. You stand there and put one foot forward and dart that ball right over the front of the plate and think to yourself, I'm trying to throw the ball onto the bat. Because I don't know if they can hit it anymore like it used to be. It seems like I get older. It seems like everything was better in the past, but you got to just try to put the ball on the bat, not the bat on the ball, and then you'll be all right. And try to ignore when you hear, a grandmother out there saying that was a bad pitch.
You telling me you're getting heckled out on the mound?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Oh, it's rough. It's rough. It's rough. I mean, youth sports is rough. It's rough, and I feel even worse for these umpires. I mean, every single ball should be a strike or a ball or something. I mean,
you know what Ted Williams said, right? Ted Williams, he said that the only people that should play Little League are orphans.
He might be on to something. He might be on to.
Richard, you're the best. Always appreciate the time you give us, and it's always I'll get you back on to talk some more baseball. So enjoy the season.
I pick up the phone in the off season too. I'm an all sport guy. Give me a call. Have me back throughout the summertime. I'm ready to roll.
Yes, sir.
Sounds
Absolutely.
great.
We'll
Thank
do
you.
it. We'll do it.
All right, guys. Enjoyed it.
Thank you, Richard Hendricks. Alabama just picked up another portal commitment. This is as of 2 minutes ago. Taylor Bowden is a 6'10", 205 power forward, a transfer from Florida State to Alabama that just happened for Nate Oates there.
Is that the second guy from Florida State? Because they got one, unless this is an old announcement.
This is as of 2 minutes ago. This is from 247 announcing this, 247 Sports. So I'll have to dive into the entire commitments. And, of course, they list Mo Diabate going to Kentucky as well on the page as well. But that is from 247 Sports. Anyway, that's a lot of basketball right at the end, a little baseball, and a little bit of baseball. Can you? I can't imagine. Well, that and also if you're from the kid's perspective, seeing someone that's 6'8" out on the mound, I mean, that's like Randy Johnson throwing at you when you're like 6 years old. It's got to be a unique experience having a Hall of Famer throw at you.
I'm talking to the parents now. There's little to no chance any of these kids ever make the major leagues. Just remember that. They need to have fun.
Have fun. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Have fun. Bottom line, have fun.
There's plenty of room in the band. Come on over.
Come on now. If you'd like to be a part of the program, you can certainly do so. 256-576-4977 to be a part of the program. We're walking you up to some Huntsville Havoc hockey as the Havoc are here at the Iceplex. It'll be myself and Joe Hunk here tonight as Joe Hunk has found his way over to Zambruski's inside the Iceplex. You remember us doing our show back over here?
A lot of fun.
Well, the place is already pretty filled up over there at Zambruski's as our final Havoc hour was, I believe, on April Fool's Day, a week ago Tuesday. But this is the home away from home for the Huntsville Havoc here at the Iceplex. So something that Lenny mentioned is that it was not stamped, sealed, and approved done by Judge Claudia Wilkin in the settlement. And I've been reading up a lot on what Ross Dellinger had to say and just getting his 2 cents on what happened a couple of days ago. And so something that I played last week from Kirby Smart, and it was that roster limitation of 105 by game one. Well, the way this is reading that I'm interpreting it from Judge Claudia Wilkin, that is not going to be a definite. We'll know, obviously, once the ruling is firm and set, and it's probably in about a 3-week time period, according to Ross Dellinger. But she wanted to gradually get into those roster limitations, not make it firm, set, and just it does make me think we're probably not going to have that 105 potentially here in this first year, Wes, and I think that's a good thing.
Who knows? You know, we're acting like this is the only thing going on. There's so many lawsuits and different things that this is so the water's is murky at best. It's a joke of what's going on. Congress needs to do something. That's the only thing that's going to fix this. Until then, it's going to be just what's going to happen is they're going to start cutting scholarships because they're going to have to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's to be competitive in basketball and football, you're going to have to pay the players. And if you don't, you're not going to be competitive. So, but right now there's no rules. I mean, there needs to be some rules. And there you go. I mean, and all 4 players getting paid. Although I'm not for them moving around like they're doing now. I think there needs to be something done. You need to make a decision, go to where you're going. Maybe have some ways to if you start, you get more this or that, you know, and after 2 or 3 years, you can leave. You know, I think I mean, to me, you got to stay there. You shouldn't have to stay for 2 years if you get paid out of high school. So that's one easy thing.
I believe Jay Billis told me and you when we were at Baumhauer's a couple of weeks ago, contracts. I mean, this could be solved very simply with contracts, and it feels like that is the simplest way to attack this issue.
Well, see, in my mind, that's the way to go, because I mean, we've already got that for the coaches and the coaching staff, and sure, you can leave after 2 years, but you got to buy out the contract.
I think what they're worried about though with that is workers' comp.
Well, I agree, but I mean, you've got to. We're moving in that direction anyway. Just set it up like a business and be done with it instead of doing it piecemeal.
Yeah, but I don't think they think they're going to be able to afford the workers' comp part. I think that's adding.
Well, then why did we go down this path?
Well, they need help with it. Is what they need. They have. That's why they haven't gone down the path.
Right.
Though for the contracts, is because when you make them students, and then you got to pay so much for workers' comp, and that raises. It can get to very, very interesting. You have players that get hurt all the time.
Right.
Right. Still dealing with injuries, right?
Right.
Well, if I was under contract, then of course you get a lawyer, yada yada yada. It can murky the waters even more. Right. I think that's what they're worried about. There's a way around it though,
right?
To get exemptions and different things. Well,
but that would require Congress.
Well, I think so, but I'm not 100% on that.
Well, I mean, if the schools and everything and the NCAA can't do it, then it's like anything else. You need another authority to come in, and since you can't handle it yourself, we're going to do it for you.
Well, and adding on to that, the final TV numbers are out, and the championship game between Florida and Houston averaged 18.1 million viewers on CBS, making it the most watched title game since 2019. And even the women's championship game, which they kind of buried Sunday afternoon between UConn and South Carolina, and that game was done in the first 5 minutes. That averaged 8.5 million there on ABC. So numbers are going up, and people are watching collegiate athletics.
The game was the game was good. I think that's why it's averaged more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it had anything to do with NIL. I think the quality of basketball is up because of NIL, but the things that supposedly everybody wants to watch, which is the upsets, they're going away.
Yeah.
You're not going to have many of those anymore.
Funny, Stephen A. Smith didn't really stand on that hill very strong after he went there. After, boy, oh boy, I want to see upsets. And listen, upsets are great. Upsets are wonderful. And yeah, the run for George Mason back in the day, that was a lot of fun making a Final Four run. But I mean, we want to see really good basketball, and we saw it this past weekend in San Antonio. Let's go ahead and take our final time out. Phone lines open to you at 256-576-4977. It's The Drive, walking you up to some playoff hockey here tonight.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Tom Luganville here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Rocket City, for air that's cool and clean, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Get HVAC smart with Professor Green and the expert team at SensaGreen.com. Now offering up to $1,500 off any new Bryant system. Whatever it takes, Sensa Green has Huntsville covered. Remember, folks, with innovative, sensible green solutions, contact Sensa Green Heating, Cooling, and Insulation.
Our customers want best-in-class solutions. That's why we've recently added many new vendors like Zebra barcode printers. Our next level team has added premier automation solutions. We're not here to sell you just one product, and we love helping you find the right solution for your specific needs. That's what doing the right thing is all about. And that's why our customers have come back for over 50 years.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID, and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. At Newmarket, Jefferson's will be opening a new location at 2190 County Road 65 very soon. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings. Hampton Cove, and soon in Newmarket.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Is your concrete sinking? Whether it's your driveway, sidewalk, or patio, those uneven surfaces are not just ugly, they're dangerous. That's where AFS comes in, a groundworks company. They use state-of-the-art concrete lifting solutions to prevent tripping hazards, and they're the best at what they do. Schedule your free inspection at afsrepair.com/row. And while you're there, check out my latest dirty job. It's a good one.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
You don't have to go somewhere else just so you can go somewhere new. Plan your next vacation with Huntsville International Airport and Breeze Airways. Enjoy friendly, convenient, nonstop travel to some of the most exciting destinations in the U.S., including the home of iconic casinos, world-class shows, dining, and entertainment. Las Vegas. With flights starting as low as just $79, Breeze has got you covered with easy, breezy, nonstop flights to Las Vegas. Book nonstop to Las Vegas now at flybreeze.com.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. After an incredibly cold morning across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, we're going to do a reasonably good job at warming up this afternoon under a mostly sunny sky. Now, temperature's still going to be below average, but at least we're going to see numbers climb into the mid-60s this afternoon. Only dropping into the mid-upper 40s as we head into the overnight, early into your Thursday morning, a partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky Thursday afternoon. We're also talking about a fairly healthy opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Can't get a ticket? Never miss a second of Huntsville Havoc hockey.
Huntsville has a 2-on-9, and that's it. Okay, tic-tac-toe, and off we go to Pensacola.
With the Havoc Zone, only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
I guess I asked for it, right? Goodness gracious. Do I call Havoc games, or does Joe Hunt call Havoc games? What am I doing here?
I don't know. Run up to Zambrewski.
Yeah, seriously. No, he's eating. I see him eating over at Zambrewski's. Hard to, not spot the Mohawk over there at Zambrewski's.
He does strike an image, doesn't
he? He does. Puck will drop at 7:30 here tonight. And we'll have the game for you right here over the airwaves of 97.7 ESPN The Zone, along with Wes Neighbors. Steve Moulton back here with you. And after all, it is sneaking up on A-Day for both Alabama and Auburn this weekend. And Coach DeBoer was asked whether or not if we can read anything into Ty Simpson being on the leadership group.
No, I mean, that leadership group was voted on in early January. So it was before spring even started, and I would expect Ty to be on that. He's been here, put in vested a lot. I would have voted for Ty to be on that in January as well. So he does a great job, really, taking advantage of knowing the guys that are on the team, helping them. He's obviously got to take care of his business, and he does. So we ask guys to be leaders, and then when you take care of your business, bring someone with you, and he does a great job with that. I think the other quarterbacks continue to do it different ways. Keelan does it with his presence. He's not probably going to be as vocal yet, just hasn't been around long enough. And Austin's kind of in there as well, has really, because of the confidence and the things he's done, especially the middle half of last fall, where he started really kind of, showing the effort and energy that he would bring the the team. I think he's gained a lot of confidence being a leader as well.
Have you read that article from Chris Lowe on ESPN.com? I mean, even inside that article, I know Drew DeArmond was a guest on the Chuck Oliver Show, a show that you can hear right here every weekday on 97.7 ESPN Zone. And he mentioned about really liking this freshman, and Keelan seems to be turning some heads this spring down in Tuscaloosa, Wes.
Well, he's a good player, there's no doubt, but he's not ready to play. So it takes time to develop. I mean, we've had several Heisman Trophy candidates, and none of them played as a freshman. And even, I guess the only one that did was Jalen, played as a freshman, but he didn't even start the first game. So I think that they have three good quarterbacks. I've been saying that. I think any of them they can win with, but I think the best gives them the best chance is the guy that's been there for 4 years and knows how to win. And that Coach, he needed to mature. He needed to mature. He was immature in a lot of ways, and you saw him hold up the football when he was about to score. He looked very athletic on that play. This guy's a dual threat quarterback. I wouldn't say, well, he's not near as fast as he's not slow though. But what he does do,
Milrose elite speed.
Yeah, no doubt. But what this guy does is I think he's a better he can get to the third read. He has a little bit more touch, more consistency with his throws, and we'll see, because I think he's going to end up being the starter. I'll be shocked if he's not.
Coach DeBoer had this to say on the entire quarterback room.
I don't want to say it was even across the board, but they all kind of got their shot with the ones and twos, especially just because they're older. Keelan's doing a great job, but with Ty and Austin, Keelan definitely works in with the twos. He'll get 1 reps from time to time, but that's no indication of really where we feel he's at. He's killing it. He's doing a great job. You can see when he's out there, he's getting more and more comfortable moving the ball down the field. When there's a throw to be made, he'll make the throw, that's for sure. So just the learning curve, I think, that comes along with being young. But those other two guys, a little bit more, as far as understanding the offense, and you're trying to continue to install things, and they have a grasp of the basics from day one. So you can do just a few more things. But, they're all three, making throws, making some big time throws. I thought they all moved the chains at times when they maybe had their backs to the wall. Maybe some second and third and long situations where they found a way to make a big throw. Obviously, someone's got to catch it too. There's just, I think, you got to be trust, I think, with the offensive line, and then it's got to go the other way too. The offensive line just getting used to cadences and getting used to, what that guy does. Is he usually break to the outside and scramble? I mean, some guys just have those type of instinctual things they do, and they're all a little bit different. But receivers, I think it really doesn't matter who's throwing to them. I think all three of those guys throw a catchable ball. It's just a matter of who can move us up and down the field the best.
If anything, and I'm not as plugged in as you and Drew are, Wes, but if there is one room that I'm hearing the most about, it's the wide receiver room down in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, they have some players down there. And, I think they're going to be, last year at times they were young at receiver. This year I think they'll be more experienced. And in the secondary, which is where, last year they played all those guys, it's going to come back to help them. You need the offensive line, and you need 3 backs. You need 3 backs that can come along and carry the ball. And I think they got potential there, but
Well, this is perfect because Chris Lowe has just gotten back with me, and we are calling Chris Lowe coming out of Sports Center. So we'll talk to the man who penned the article at ESPN.com right on the other side of this Sports Center timeout. It's The Drive, and we'll be right back with Chris Lowe.
Ford Motor Company. from America, for America. Hi, folks. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford with a real quick quiz. Out of all the manufacturers, do you know which auto company employs the most hourly workers in America? Ford. Do you know which company assembles the most vehicles in this country? Ford. That's not just a coincidence. It's a commitment. A 120-year-old commitment to build in America for America. And during this unprecedented moment in automotive history, you stand to benefit big time. Woody Anderson Ford is now offering employee pricing. You pay what we pay. We've got over 190 F-150s for you to choose from with generous finance rates and the best deals of the year on America's best-selling truck for 48 years in a row. Employee pricing can save you thousands off MSRP, and with over 600 Fords for you to choose from, there's a good chance you'll find just exactly what you're looking for. This offer ends May 31st, so hurry in. Woody Anderson Ford.
Doug Brown, we've got an NBA doubleheader on ESPN starting at 7:30 Eastern. First up, the Luka Doncic return to Dallas as the Mavericks host the Lakers. Dallas trying to lock up a play-in spot. The Lakers hope to move a step closer to clinching the third spot in the West. The second game of the doubleheader will be the Kings hosting the Nuggets in Sacramento. Denver is in a logjam for the 5 seed in the West, and this will be their first game since firing head coach Michael Malone. The Kings have already clinched a play-in spot. Baseball today, the Giants stay hot with a dramatic win at home. Game tied at 6 in the bottom of the 10th.
Infield in. The pitch. Yeah, swings and he belts one. Deep down the right field line. Headed for San Francisco Bay. Goodbye. That one is left. A 2-run, game-ending home run by Mike Yastrzemski.
John Miller on KNBR. The Giants beat the Reds 8-6. They're now 9-3. Wilmer Flores had tied the game for the Giants with a solo shot in the bottom of the 9th. Dodgers manager Dave Roberts says first baseman Freddie Freeman could be back in the lineup Friday against the Cubs. Freeman's been out with a right ankle sprain after slipping in the shower at home. Team USA wins its opening game at the Women's Hockey World Championships in the Czech Republic, beating Finland today 7-1.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Candy, coming up Thursday with the NBA playoffs right around the corner. I'll give you every title contender's fatal flaw. It's Unsportsmanlike, 6 a.m. Eastern, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. Welcome to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline, 256-576-4977.
That's how I roll. And I'm not going to drink and drive anymore.
That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Wes and Steve.
Along with Wes Neighbors, Steve Moulton back here with you, walking you up to some Havoc hockey playoff style. But right now, let's talk some college football with Chris Lowe from ESPN.com. And Chris, you've been a busy fella. Appreciate the time, sir.
Absolutely, guys. Good to be with you.
Well, let's dive into Tuscaloosa. Yeah, I mean, I read it, obviously, on ESPN.com, but tell me a little bit more about the article from your perspective on what you saw in Tuscaloosa, sir.
The main thing is I saw a group of guys, coaches, and players who are ready to dive back in. I don't think anybody was just up in arms about what happened last year to the inconsistencies that plagued Alabama. And then to really have a chance there at the end of the season, you lose to Vandy. You have some games where you just don't play your best football. Tennessee beats them. And you go on the road and you get just hammered by Oklahoma, a really average Oklahoma team. And I think that taste and then losing the bowl game to Michigan is something that nobody wants to linger there, starting with Kalen DeBoer. Now, in my time with Kalen, he was pretty candid. He said, last year was one of those years where you're in retention mode most of the time. You come in after a guy that's done it better than anybody's ever done it, Nick Saban. You got the portal on top of you. You're trying to keep guys. You got the portal again in April after spring practice. And he said, maybe there wasn't that edge, that hard edge that you want, that we feel like we have right now. And some of his players, Deontay Lawson in particular, said he felt like it was hard for DeBoer to be that bad cop last year because of all the things we've described. And I think that getting Ryan Grubb back, which is sort of Kalen DeBoer's right hand, Grubb's his left hand, those two guys first coached together in 2007. I think that will help, certainly will help, and has helped the program gain that type of edge DeBoer was talking about. But he feels good. I think that everybody feels like this is a little bit more of his team, more of his fingerprints on this team. But the thing that Kalen was emphasizing to me is that they just got to be more consistent. They got to play with more consistency. They can't have some of the things that plagued them last year continue to crop up. And certainly they got to find a quarterback, a guy that they can rally around and be the guy. I think Ty Simpson's probably best positioned to win the job, but he hasn't won it yet. So they're not going to name him until he proves to them that he's the guy.
Chris, they had the last three games, which they won one against Auburn, but they had 12 turnovers in those three. It's hard to beat anybody. And I think Auburn had 4 turnovers in that game as well. Reason they were able to beat Auburn, but you just can't win games turning the ball over like that.
Yeah, you both those teams you mentioned, Bama and Auburn, both of them really struggled in turnover margin, and especially in key games. And as I said, turnovers were a big part of that inconsistency. They played good. Bama was one of those teams last year that I think it's easy when you've been as good as they have under Nick to look at last year and say it was a total disaster. There were stretches last year where they were really good. That first half against Georgia, about as good as you can play. To go down to Baton Rouge and beat LSU the way they did, that was really good football. But then you think of that, and I think the thing that you can't get out of it's hard for me being a football junkie, it's hard for me to get out of my head. And I'm thinking, talking to guys like Deontay Lawson and Jeremy Bernard, Overton, and then certainly Kalen, is that Oklahoma debacle. That's the one that, I don't think Kalen DeBoer saw that coming, to go on the road and play that poorly against a team that had not had a good season when you had everything at stake for Alabama. So I think that's the kind of thing when you hear Kalen talk about it, it's a harder edge. You hear his players saying that maybe he wasn't the bad cop that he could have been had he not been battling some of these other things. I think those are things that will be priorities this year for this Alabama team, because they're not lacking talent. There's a lot of good football players. I think there's a lot of young talent that maybe we haven't seen as much of, that hasn't played, that will play this year and be a big factor. So I think it's just, again, second years, a lot of times when coaches are coming into successful programs. I mean, think about Kirby Smart's second year at Georgia. And it wasn't like the Georgia program was broken. The guy before him was averaging winning, 9 or 10 games a year. They just couldn't get over the hump to win championships. I think this, to me, is a lot like that. He has a chance, Kalen, in his second year, to really get the program back to where they're playing for championships. I don't have a crystal ball. Injuries play a part. What happens at quarterback? I would be surprised if Bama is not a playoff team next year.
I agree with you totally. Chris, one of the things, and we've talked about on this show, their 2 best games you just said were against Georgia and LSU.
Right.
Vanderbilt followed the Georgia game. Oklahoma followed the LSU game.
Yep. And Vanderbilt, I know people are going to sit straight up when I say this. Vanderbilt was a tough out really for everybody last year.
There's no question, yeah.
Game. Texas had to recover an onside kick. the end of the game to seal that win. They beat Auburn, they beat Alabama, they jumped out 14-0 on Tennessee. Tennessee's able to come. So to me, the Vanderbilt game on the road, Vanderbilt, Clarkley does a great job managing the game, shortening the game. I know Alabama hadn't lost to Vandy since the Reagan administration, but that really wasn't a fluky loss. I mean, Vanderbilt just beat them.
As I said after the game, if there'd been another quarter, they'd scored 3 more touchdowns. I mean, we couldn't stop them.
To your point, though, the Oklahoma game was the one that you really sort of have a hard time wrapping your hands around. That's the one with, and I think any Alabama fan is certainly well within their rights to look at that and say, "Whoa, now how in the world could this happen?" And trust me, and being there for most of the day on Monday, that's the thing that has stuck with everybody in that building, is that we're not going to, and we can't let that kind of thing happen.
Would it surprise you at all to see Austin Mack in the portal when it opens up on the 16th?
We'll see. I mean, let me say this: nothing will surprise me at any school in the portal. and listen, and guys laugh. This settlement doesn't get approved, which I don't know if it will or won't.
Yeah.
By the time the portal opens next week, it will be utter and total chaos, because any deal that's been locked in. I was at Auburn on Tuesday, and they feel pretty good about their NIL and who they've got locked into deals. But all that goes out the window if this settlement doesn't kick in, because then all of a sudden you don't think agents and runners and other collectives, other coaches, of course, no coach ever tampers. We all know that. Right?
Never.
Aren't going to be calling kids from all over the country. Now, you can't go from SEC to SEC in the spring portal. I think that's the first thing to remember. But it's not stopping a Austin Mack. It's not stopping whoever, anybody in Alabama from going to Ohio State or Michigan or Florida State. I think that right now, this is my sense of the Alabama's quarterback situation, is that, as I said, I think Ty Simpson's best position to win it. But they've given Austin Mack a ton of reps. He's actually gotten more in teamwork, a few more, than Ty Simpson. So that tells me they feel like, and I did talk to Ryan Grubb, that he's a legitimate candidate to win the job, because if not, why are you giving him that many reps in a critical part of spring practice? I think Keelan Russell's probably the most talented of all of them, but he's a freshman. I don't think it's realistic to have him ready to play, or that he would be ready to play when the season starts. Ty Simpson certainly has the skill set. He's been there a while. He's hung in there. He's a tough kid. He's battled for the job before. Remember, 2 years ago, he and Milroe were battling for the job before Milroe won. But no, I don't think. First of all, I don't think Bama's going to have a decision on a starter until we get past the summer. But no, I wouldn't be surprised to see anybody. I'll promise you this: there'll be, throughout the SEC, there will be 4, 5, 6 or more names of guys who are in the portal. Everybody will sit up straight. Go, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah, and that's real, and there's no question about that. I did want to get your temperature gauge on the Auburn program, a very important year for Hugh Freeze and Jackson Arnold as well. Tell me about your time in the Plains, Chris.
Yeah, it is a critical year. Year 3, 4 straight losing seasons, 2 for Freeze. And I don't think, and he said it in my story, there's no sense of panic. And you look at Auburn the last 2 years, they've lost a lot of close games that they just haven't been able to finish. I mean, let's be honest. They just, Alabama 2 years ago, it took a miracle for Bama to beat them. That same year, they had Georgia beat at home, ran for 220 yards. Brock Bowers goes all Brock Bowers on that last drive, and Georgia beats them. Last year, I think they lost 3 by 4 or fewer points. They just got to win some of those close games, and they can't turn it over. I mean, Wes was talking about Auburn in critical situations last year. Couldn't finish drives. They were 8 of 17 on field goals and just an SEC play, and they turned the ball over. They just got to be more disciplined, more efficient, And I think in year 3 with Arnold, if he does regain his confidence, goes much like Ty Simpson, that kid's got the skill set. He was the number 2 ranked quarterback in the country when he came out, in Texas. Big time player, could extend the play, could make plays running and throwing. He's just got to get his confidence back. And I think the key thing, guys, with Auburn is their receiving core last year was not very consistent. Too many drops, too many bad routes. Cam Coleman is a big-time player. I think he will be much more polished and much more – I think you'll be able to count on him more in critical situations. I think the key acquisition for Auburn was bringing Eric Singleton from Georgia Tech. I mean, he can fly. And watching him practice, he's going to bring that speed element to the receiving core. They will be, I think, better, and they will need to be better overall in the pass game. They've got a chance to be one of the more improved teams in the league. I still don't think they're deep enough to be a playoff team, but I do think they can go from being a 5-win team to an 8 or 9-win team if things fall right for them.
Chris, I can't thank you enough for the time. And where are you headed to next?
Headed home now, but hopefully to Florida and Clemson here in the next few weeks.
I'm excited to read about the Clemson. I mean, Florida as well, but Clemson, boy, I'm excited to read your thoughts there on the Clemson Tigers.
Should be his best team since that 2015 to 2019 stretch where they either won it every year, played for it every year. I think this will be Davo's best, deepest team since those teams.
Looking forward to reading it, and I always appreciate your time, sir.
All right, guys. Take care.
That is Chris Lowe from ESPN.com. And, yeah, a lot circling around the Clemson program right there. So, but, boy, if this settlement hearing really does not come down before the 16th, which is a week from today, by the way, in words to circle right there from Chris Lowe on the potential anarchy that we could see, like we hadn't seen it in previous cycles in the spring portal, but with the fact that there is a potential of a settlement, it just adds a little extra to the sauce, if you will. Wes, coming up next Wednesday.
So far, there's nothing that anybody's done to help. And why should we expect that to start now?
I'm just letting that marinate for a second because, I mean, you're spot on. I mean, that this is the world we live in, or in collegiate athletics right now.
It's everything. I mean, it's
well, yeah.
It's like there's what's up is it doesn't seem like it's still up. You know, everything just seems to be out of kilt within the I guess the law community, and something needs to happen to make it where there's some control somewhere, some consistency somewhere.
You would think.
I mean, you know, you get these judges all over the country making all these they seem very arbitrary decisions, and they affect everybody. I don't know how that could work. How a district judge in Tennessee kind of threw the SEC and all the things against Tennessee out. Well, that just doesn't make any sense to me. I mean,
no, because it doesn't.
No, so I just something needs to change, and I'm not smart enough to figure out what it is. I'm just smart enough to know that what's happening now isn't right. So
Deuce Knight spoke to the media. Of course, he is the freshman quarterback down on the Plains battling Jackson Arnold. Here's a little bit of the freshman quarterback down on the Plains.
Oh, yeah, the spring has been great. You know, it's been a lot of competition. You know, we got great guys on both sides of the ball, so it's been good. It's just been fun to get out here and just play with all the guys.
Are you competing out there with the expectation that you could win this job come the fall?
I'm just going out every day, just trying to get better. It's not. I'm not thinking about all that stuff. Just trying to get better each and every day. Just trying to be the best teammate I can, and that's about it.
How valuable are these reps for you? Getting in there, you're getting a lot of them.
It's been big because I'm a guy that has to go out there and do things. So getting all these reps has been helping me learn the offense and just see different looks to everything I'm doing and just coming up with ways just to play faster and things like that.
What's the transition been like from high school to college, athletically, but also academically, socially, all that?
Yeah, it's been. I wouldn't say it's been hard. It's been good. I would just say like managing time. I feel like you got a little more time because I'm not in school for 8 hours of the day, and then I practice the next 2. So I have a little more time. But it's been a good transition. It's all about business.
All about business. Deuce Knight.
Yeah. So managing your time, that is the biggest thing. Because you have to go to school, you have to learn your plays. It's a big adjustment for a young man to go from high school where you're the big dog to where you're just another fish in the sea right now, trying to learn what to do and find go to class, meet new people. The people that you've been around for the last 18 years aren't there. So it's a lot to it. But he sounds like he's making the adjustment. I like what he says. I like the way he sounds lost as a Bessie bug, but hell, if you'd interviewed me, I'd sound worse. So when I was a freshman, it's a lot.
How about you putting him out there for the media? I mean, as well.
Well,
I think that's a big step too.
Yeah. Well, you can't hide from the media anymore. That's.
You can try.
Yeah.
You can try.
Yeah. Anyway, it just is what it is. I was impressed the way he handled that, what he said. So I thought it was a good first appearance. Not perfect, but
yeah.
But you could hear the nerves in his voice.
Yeah, definitely.
But he sounds like a good kid to me.
So Deuce Knight, freshman quarterback, Keelan Russell, freshman quarterback. Do you expect any of these two to make a serious impact, either at all, Auburn or Alabama this year?
I would say no. Not at the beginning of the season anyway. You never know with injuries and how the season goes. And, when you start losing, I remember listening to the show on this station talk about how they did the bench the quarterback and just play the freshman, which – I've seen more NFL quarterbacks get ruined the first year than anywhere else. So,
boy,
I just think you just got to let it. He has to be. Just remember, Jalen Hurts didn't start his first game.
Yeah,
and he should have because he was the best quarterback and they knew it.
Yeah.
So
that was the USC game, right?
Yes.
The one in Dallas.
Yes, and
Blake Barnett, I think it was.
Blake Barnett. So they didn't. It's. You got to they didn't want the pressure to be on them. It was a great decision that Coach Saban made, no doubt. But
I'll never forget the reaction in the media room because we were out there for that game and just kind of wow, this is really happening. This is because it was I'll never forget being in that media room when the depth charts were out finally, and everybody knew it was happening, that Blake Barnett was the starting quarterback for the Crimson Tide.
I was shocked because I'd been to all the scrimmages back when we used to scrimmage on Saturday. You could go to
the good old days, right?
Oh, my goodness. There is a scrimmage tomorrow morning at 8:15.
Right. You going?
I wish I could go. I want to go.
You don't have the helipad ready to roll, and
I've never had I've been on a helicopter once. It was the coolest thing I ever did, but it was in California.
That sounds pretty awesome to me.
Yeah, it was awesome. Yeah,
you would think where we're at, there's got to be someone over at Redstone Arsenal that can hook us up with the Blackhawk ride, right?
Yeah.
I mean, That's easy to do, right?
Exactly. I don't think so.
No, yeah,
you're going to get in a helicopter if it's here that's being worked on. So no, I don't think I'm going to do that.
Well, actually,
I was friends with the general that was in charge of that.
Really?
And he was a 4-star general. I think he was a 3-star at the time. He became a 4-star general. I asked him a simple question. Because, he was in charge of all the helicopters come here to be fixed, and they would fix them. And then he came up as the test pilot to test them. And that's what he, started in that kind of, and so I asked him, I said, well, weren't you ever nervous when you would get in a helicopter they just fixed? And he says, well, no, not really, because I always made the mechanic go with me, which is why he became a general, right?
Yeah, exactly. And funny you go there, because my dad, who served in the Army as well as the Air Force, told me he was a mechanic during the Korean War. And the very few stories he told me is that when he would fix an airplane, he would have to go and fly in that airplane. And he told me right then and there, you get darn sure fixing an airplane if you've got to get in there, strap it up, and take it up into the air. So that's smart by the general.
My uncle was career Air Force and spent a lot of his time in the maintenance wing, starting at Maxwell Air Base. But he says, really and truly, once you get in an aircraft like that, a helicopter, it's been looked at so many times by so many people, it's safe. There's only one nut you need to keep track of, and it's the one holding the stick.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the one nut that'll get loose and kill you.
Yeah.
And anyone who's ridden with a military pilot, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's out of respect. That's not any diss. Yep. That's a respect, because they drive me crazy to do it too.
Let's go ahead and take our first time out. Final 30 minutes belong to you here on The Drive, walking you up to some playoff hockey. That's right, Huntsville Havoc hockey coming up here tonight. Who's calling the game?
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The company is Eagle Masonry and Insulation, but did you know they're also Eagle Landscaping and Dirt Work? Eagle can take care of all your landscaping needs, including irrigation, sod work, and planting, both plants and trees. On the dirt work side, Eagle can grade and build your pads, haul dirt in or out, and even do erosion control. Philip Love and his team can do it all for you. The website is the same, insulatewitheagle.com, as is the phone number, 256-755-1556. Give them a call and see what Eagle can do for you. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
I'm here with Stan McDonald of Jacob Title. Stan, I've heard that every real estate closing at Jacob Title is a very big deal. Why is that?
Wes, I'm reminded of a very impactful statement that I heard from Coach Gene Stallings years ago when he talked about big games and little games. He said he didn't like that comparison. He says, because try losing one of those little games, and if you ever do, it ends up being the biggest game all year long. Well, it's the same thing with real estate closings. Every game, every closing is a very big deal at Jacob Title, because when it's your closing and your contract on the line, it's a very big deal, and we understand that at Jacob Title.
So it sounds like whether your client is a first-time residential buyer or a multi-million-dollar investor, they can expect your A game.
That's exactly right. As a matter of fact, when you bring your real estate closing to us at Jacob Title, we understand it's all about trust and confidence. And when Stan McDonald tells you that a chicken dips snuff, you can look under his wing for the box.
And like Beebs likes to say, there's no doubt about it.
Hey, this is Bob Baumhauer here to let you know that
Something's cooking. Many of y'all know me as that crazy jock that brought Buffalo-style chicken wings to Alabama way back when. Turns out we were way ahead of the curve, and things changed. Now I'm here to tell you that you're in for another surprise. As a guy who played for Coach Bryant and Don Shula, you got to know it's going to be a winner. Stay tuned and visit us at bombhowers.com or become a fan on Facebook. You never know who's going to get some free tickets.
Are you tired of power outages disrupting your life? It's time for a Generac standby generator from Current Electrical. Storms may rage outside, but inside your family's powered up. So why choose Current Electrical for your generator needs? 1, we offer a wide range of models to suit every budgeted energy requirement. 2, our project managers handle every step of the process: power, gas, permitting, and inspections. 3, our certified technicians install your generator with precision, ensuring peace of mind. Don't wait for the next blackout. Call 256-880-1880 or visit us online at jetsuperstore.com.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
And now, a man who knows what you ate for breakfast.
Now for the biggest thinker of them all.
He knows it all. He is Drew DeArmond. Listen to Drew and Scott Tyson weekday mornings. It's Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
But that trick never worked.
It is the drive here, walking you up to Huntsville Havoc hockey. Coming up at the top of the hour, myself and Joe Hunk will walk you up to the puck dropping. Well, I assume we're going to start at 7:30. There's free skate is still ongoing here in Rink 1 inside the Iceplex, which surprises me a little bit because we're supposedly an hour away from the puck dropping inside the Iceplex, but a fine facility here right off of Lehman Ferry Road. 256-576-4977 telephone number. If you'd like to participate in this edition of the drive, we've already heard from Lenny Acuff, the new men's basketball coach at Samford, as that was made official earlier today. We've also heard from Richard Hendricks to put a bow on the college basketball season, and Chris Lowe from ESPN.com that put it very succinctly with depending on what happens with the House settlement before next Wednesday, nothing would surprise him, which is the correct answer more than anything. Lane Kiffin, he spoke to the media earlier today. Let's find out what your boy had to say over in Oxford there, Wes.
Kind of because of potential weather issues, we scrimmaged on Friday instead of Saturday. It was good to kind of change that up with them without them knowing. So a lot of plays, a lot of things out there for evaluation. Just continuing trying to evaluate with so many new players, especially defensively. So it's really good to go in the stadium and try to create a scrimmage game-ish atmosphere. So that was good. We'll continue to try to do that and keep pushing on. Pleased with guys' effort. Worked a lot on tackling today and different drills and full pads, and they did a really good job. So excited about this group and continuing to work with them.
That is a little bit there from the Easter Bunny. We are actually sneaking up on Easter.
Yeah.
So he actually started this trend of the non-spring game. Remember this time last year, he did not want to showcase his fantastic defense, and Ole Miss did have a great defense last year. But Mr. O did not want to showcase the D against his toy that is his side of the ball in the offense. But now it's popular. Now it's chic of the non-spring game. And by the way, your coverage of, is it the final spring even practice for Alabama on Saturday? I don't know that answer. Do you? Is it on Saturday?
I'm pretty sure yes. Because
I know
they're having a real scrimmage tomorrow.
Was that Thursday or Friday?
I think it's Thursday.
Okay.
Because they wouldn't.
So tomorrow morning?
Yeah.
They wouldn't go back-to-back days. That's right. That's right. And then our coverage of what is being called A-Day is going to be at 11:30 Saturday morning, and that will roll into Alabama baseball. And our coverage, I believe it's Mississippi State this weekend. And don't look now, but, baseball teams are stacked as well here in the Southeastern Conference. So there you have it. A little bit more from the Easter Bunny? Sure, why not?
Lane, it seemed like last week you kind of expressed some concern over the secondary, just saying that y'all had a lot of work to do. Just what does that specifically from your vantage point kind of entail? Is it more just the personnel that's there now or just, the offense, defense type thing?
Well, there's some injuries there with some guys not practicing. So that's part of the concern too. So there's just not a lot of numbers there and certainly not much experience playing. So it's just something we'll have to work through and continue to push guys. And hopefully as these guys, a couple guys come back from injuries, it'll look better.
I don't know whether you followed the court case proceedings yesterday in California, but I'm curious how,
here it comes,
if at all, you're able to sort of plan for how you're going to go forward in the next few weeks and months with rev share and NIL, not really knowing what that ruling may or may not be.
Yeah, good question. But I mean, it's kind of like giving a game plan, for the game Saturday. It's pretty strategic. I think different people are doing different things, so I can't really get into that. But it is just a continuation of a very complicated system, and even more now that you don't even know exactly what the rules are or cap or when that is going to start. And there's even rules within when her judgment does, and certain parts are supposed to start at that point. So I don't think anybody knows the exact answer what to do. I think people are just doing different things.
How frustrating is that? I mean, obviously, you're not asking you to give away your strategy, but there's a chance that your strategy could end up being wrong, obviously, because you're operating in the dark. How frustrating is that, knowing that things could change dramatically?
Yeah, there's a bunch of different options of how to do this that different people are, and there's some risk in there too. So yeah, it's really not ideal, but it is what it is. And it's very complicated, actually, the answers within there of what to do. And then if it does or doesn't go through and which parts do, potentially people could be in really tough situations if they choose A or B of those options. And then, it doesn't go through.
What?
Well, exactly. So here's the big thing. There is one judge in California, of all places,
Claudia Wilkin,
that was making decisions for the whole NCAA.
How about
that?
that?
Is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life.
How about that?
It's just so frustrating. And just think if you were dependent on this for your business. Poor Wesley must have a lot of injuries. I hadn't talked to him. I never talked to him.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till that first question there from. I know those were sentences and words put in sentences right there.
But we were talking in total code. Yeah.
Secret decoder ring.
Yeah.
I felt like we were talking about the Manhattan Project more than anything. So I can't really tell you, but I'm going to put words in a sentence because you need to write something in your article or play something on your radio show. But I'm not going to tell you a darn thing. Thank you, Easter Bunny.
Well, the guy asking the question.
Yeah, and it was a good follow-up. It was a good follow-up question, too.
Yeah, but so what he's talking about is the amount of money they're spending, who they can give it to, what their plan is if this happens or that happens. As far as walk-ons and all the different things. So nobody knows anything. It's all crazy is what it is. Here we are waiting on some judge in California to make some decision that's going to affect all football.
Well, and add on to that is something that she has at least touched upon, according to Ross Dellinger, who's been following this. I think he's actually out in California covering this. Even the roster limits set at 105. He wants to how do you gradually
she has no
implement
idea
that?
what she's doing.
I mean, how do you gradually do that in any sport?
Yeah. So I guess she doesn't want to be the judge that cost all the walk-ons, the things, and you know, it doesn't make sense. It makes zero sense. It's just, you know, and this is all that, you know, you can go back to this is all the NCAA's fault for not doing anything,
not getting in front of this.
Yeah, putting their head in the sand. But yeah, and I don't know if this person, the judge out there, I don't need to say her name again because I don't want to cause people to call her or anything.
Yeah.
But the that how is she the one making the decision for all this? It's just that to me just blows me away.
Oh, I thought that was me. It did make me want to at least revisit what Kirby Smart had to say on this house settlement.
We've talked about the house settlement. The biggest thing going on is you got two dates you're operating off of. There's a portal date, there's a house settlement date, and there's a lot of people doing they're not illegal things. They're just manipulative money things to try to move this, move that, so I can free up this. And what's going to happen? There's probably going to be a bubble or a spike, and then agents are literally trying to take advantage of that every minute they can. They want to get all they can for their client. But at the end of the day, it may backfire because there's going to be a correction in the market at some point when this cap hits. If the cap is truly what the house settlement wants it to be, if there is truly a cap, if you just keep trying to front load and pay out people, and what's going on in basketball now and football now, people are trying to beat a date, then what's going to happen when those people expect that same money the next year and it's not there because you're in a cap? Like, there's going to be a correction eventually, and I don't think any of us know what's going to happen.
I'm just putting my hands up in the air.
Well, those guys have no clue what's happening. You can hear it in their voice.
Yeah.
I mean, and they've been told so much, I talked to a lot of people, and they've been told different things every time they talk to somebody. So now they're just feel like there's no plan at all, really. That it's just going to fly by night, and they have a plan if this happens. Like Lane was saying, they've gone over all the scenarios of what if this happens, if that happens. And
he said A and B, so he's at least narrowed it down to two things.
Yeah, but
I'm surprised to hear that it's only two things.
Yeah, it's more than that because who knows what the judge is going to say. I'm expecting her to say what she did today or yesterday or whatever.
Yeah.
So and the fact that again that one judge in California is making this decision just blows my mind.
256-576-4977, the telephone number. Let's talk to Joe before our final timeout. How are you, Joe? Are you there, Joe?
Oh yeah, I'm stable. I'm sorry.
All good.
Hey guys, I'm not a real smart in this deal. Obviously, with this NIL, no lawyer for sure. But if Congress passes any kind of law concerning this, is it even going to hold up in court?
I have no idea.
Well, I don't either, Wes. I'm like y'all's earlier comment that contracts is only thing that's going to work. Just like this is nothing but NFL football. That's my opinion.
No, NFL football
they actually
is organized.
That's exactly the words I was about to say. They have some organization.
Yeah, they're organized.
That's my whole point. I mean, it's going to have to be organized similar to that, under contract, and these kids are going to have to deal with. It's all about the market. I mean, I read this morning that NIL for Arch Manning is $6.25 million.
But I have no problem with that because
I understand. I don't either.
But the NIL is different. He's getting he's getting NIL money. That's what was supposed to happen.
Yeah,
he's getting the commercials and different things. Kind of like Bryce Young got $3 million his last year at Alabama from Pepsi and a couple other people. And so I have no problem with that. That's what NIL is supposed to be. My problem is the guys that are getting out of high school and paying them hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, to come to their school, just to come to their school. That's the issue I have. It shouldn't be like that.
I totally agree with you. But it's obviously a big mess, and hopefully it'll work itself out. Because if it don't, it's going to destroy, not completely, but really put a kink in college sports across the board.
I think Wes put it best, though, Joe. I mean, but we're relying on a judge to more or less give us the groundwork and the pavement for this highway on how the entire collegiate system is going to run off of.
Well, yes, we're relying on that system, but there's a judge that's going to rule on this later down the road, and it's going to take a while to work itself out. Simplify it, make go contract these kids, pay them, whatever money you can afford, I guess, per school, and roll with it.
Well, we heard from Lenny Acuff, and then a question that Wes asked Coach Acuff is kind of budget-wise, and what? He gave us a figure of, $7 to $9 million?
Yeah, it was just double what it was. I was just to double what it was last year.
Yeah.
So $7 to $9 million.
Or the year before that, because, yeah.
And that's for a small.
That's 15 players.
Yeah, for 15 players.
Yeah, that's for big Division I schools, and I guess they're working with about half of that. Is what I think he said.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, hope there's a lot of deep pockets out there, guys.
Well, I think what you're seeing,
there's got to be a correction.
Yeah, well, I think Kirby's right. I mean, there's going to be a correction if they ever pass this thing, but then somebody's going to sue about that.
Yeah.
So they need to get a hold of this. I just can't believe
you put a cap on what I could have potentially earned.
They can't put a cap on the actual NIL. This is just money.
Correct.
This is just money they're paying revenue sharing from the schools. The NIL part, but it's going to have to be true NIL. They're not just going to have to, according to the athletic director at Auburn, he told us,
John
Cohen told us that there was going to be true enforcement of NIL being true NIL and not just some booster paying you.
Yeah.
But we'll see what if that happens.
Joe, we are right up against a break. You got anything else for us, sir?
That's it, Steve. I appreciate all y'all do. Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Joe.
Let's go ahead and take our final time out. Final call for phone calls on the other side. It's The Drive right here on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You're listening to The Drive with Wes Neighbors and Steve Moulton on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Are you tired of chasing a roofing contractor to show up on time or even show up at all? I'm Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Our motto at Fleming Roofing is we show up. Our goal at Fleming Roofing is to provide the reliable customer service that you deserve, and we have the resources to meet all of your roofing needs. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. We are manufacturer certified for roof coatings, single-ply membranes, and asphalt shingles. Whenever you need a roofing professional you can count on, call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We are committed to finding the solution that meets your needs. We don't have quotas or heavy-handed sales tactics. Fleming Roofing. We have expert experience. We show up. Free estimates. Residential, commercial, industrial, replacement, or repairs. Check us out at FlemingHSV.com. FlemingHSV.com. When you need a quick response, it's Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Buying that perfect home is one of the most important financial decisions you'll ever make. So it's crucial that you have the right partner to help you through the process. Hi, I'm Stuart Evans, mortgage loan officer for Bryant Bank, and I'm here to tell you that we are that partner. We offer a variety of mortgage products to fit your unique home buying situation in a changing rate environment. That kind of hassle-free approach might not be what you'd expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give me a call today or visit me at our downtown Huntsville office and let me show you what banking beyond expectation is all about.
Bryant Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428943, member FDIC.
I'm here with Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. With the temperatures going up and temperatures going down right now, now is a good time to get your heating and air system looked at. Thomas, when somebody calls, you guys answer.
That's right. The phones are staffed by us. They're manned 24/7. We're ready to come out and take care of you that day.
How do they give you guys a call?
You give us a call at 256-503-4490.
And you can find you guys on the World Wide Web at
talenthvac.com.
And now is a good time to do this because you guys are offering a special deal.
That's right. We're doing $49 tune-ups this spring. We're also doing free second opinions. We offer that year-round. Somebody comes out, they say you got a bag compressor, a leaking refrigerant. Give us a call, see if we can save you some money.
Thomas from Talent Heating and Air. Thomas, one more time, that phone number.
256-503-4490.
AL certain number 21014.
Hey, this is Bob Baumhauer here to let you know that something's cooking. Many of y'all know me as that crazy jock that brought Buffalo-style chicken wings to Alabama way back when. Turns out we were way ahead of the curve and things changed. Now I'm here to tell you that you're in for another surprise. As a guy who played for Coach Bryant and Don Shula, you got to know it's going to be a winner. Stay tuned and visit us at Baumhauers.com or become a fan on Facebook. You never know who's going to get some free tickets.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, managing partner at University Kia, proudly saying Roll Tide and War Eagle. Stop into University Kia today and shop one of the area's largest selection of new Kias, including Fortes, Seltos, Telluride, and Popular Carnival, and fully electric EV6. View all the great specials at universitykia.com and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia you really want, because we want to see you in a University Kia.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. After an incredibly cold morning across North Alabama, southern Middle Tennessee, we're going to do a reasonably good job at warming up this afternoon under a mostly sunny sky. Now, temperature's still going to be below average, but at least we're going to see numbers climb into the mid-60s this afternoon. Only dropping into the mid-upper 40s as we head into the overnight early into your Thursday morning. A partly sunny to mostly cloudy sky Thursday afternoon. We're also talking about a fairly healthy opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms across the Tennessee Valley. I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman on your home for ESPN Radio, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Never miss 1 second of Charger baseball with the Charger Zone.
Stevens is going to send this one into the gap. J.C. Wilburn get to it. He dives and dives.
Only on 97.7 ESPN.com and the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app.
Joe Honk hates this song. Absolutely hates this
Let me
song.
turn up a little bit.
Yeah. Where's Joe Honk? Get your ears on. Get your ears on. Oh, you just threw him down.
Love you, buddy. Have a good
he
call.
hates this. He hates this song. Yeah. Yeah. Walking you up to some Huntsville Havoc hockey here tonight in the Iceplex, and it is already getting populated. Got the mayor of Florence right in front of me as well here on a Wednesday night.
Mike Self's there?
He serves us along with Mike Self. He is the treasury director, probably. But anyway, 256-5764-97.7, the telephone number. Playoff hockey is always cool. It's fun to be a part of the Havoc organization, and this is my 10th year doing it.
So you're at the Sportsplex, and it's not at the Civic Center?
We are not at the VBC due to Disney on Ice. Disney on Ice is taking center stage. You would think one of these decades that they would actually, because the Havoc have been in the playoffs every year, that they would actually say, you know what, let's plan on some playoff hockey. And to the VBC's credit, we were there in the first round last year, had to move over to the Iceplex for the second round, and then back into the VBC in the championship round. So, I mean, there's some shuffling that happens every year, but it's a very unique environment. You know what? This is a special environment because there's going to be like almost 900 people inside this little tiny rink, and the atmosphere is fantastic here at the Iceplex. But I know that we'll have some folks who are unable to be here because, I mean, it's just a numbers deal. You cannot bring 6,000 people inside the Iceplex. But here we are, and I know there'll be a lot of people listening to our call here tonight. And I'm just trying to figure out who's the play-by-play guy, either me or Joe Hunk, with all those liners that have been playing. But no, Judge, I'm getting this look as well. Anyway, it is Huntsville and Evansville in a best of three. In fact, there is another playoff series as well.
Evansville that place you go with the strip joint?
No, that was Peoria. Big Al's is in Peoria. That 2018, that was a night that I will never forget. They're winning at Peoria in 2018, and then what occurred afterwards there at Big Al's. I'll just leave it at that. But final call for phone calls at 256-576-4977. I did get a text message from a listener saying that's the best way to describe what I just heard out of Lane Kiffin. He said words, but I'm not sure exactly that was English. So that's one way to put it. And we're a week away from the portal opening up. And we'll see what happens with the portal. But I feel like we had some decent information today, especially out of Chris Lowe from ESPN.com. If you wanted to go back and listen to that, you certainly can do so. Just download our app at 977 ESPN. And not only that, but the par 3 tournament was today. Why am I mentioning that? Because we've got a couple of golf deals for you over on our zone deals, including Gunner's Landing that launched today. But Cherokee Ridge is also on our big zone deals. You just head over to our website, click on the banner of Savings Never Tasted So Good. How about Golf Never Tasted So Good? 2 players in a cart for half price for both Cherokee Ridge and Gunner's Landing. I did notice one player that we spoke about with Brian Katrick yesterday. First hole-in-one of the day came from Keegan Bradley. So kind of cool to see that. And it's always a fun event. Kind of loosen things up before things get really serious for the first major of the year with the 89th Masters that will tee it up. And it's supposed to be beautiful weather. Tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so many years there's always been kind of a weather system to barrel through, and it doesn't look like that's going to be the case at all. But if you get the itch and want to pull out the clubs, we've got 2 courses that you can choose from Gunner's Landing and Cherokee Ridge Golf Course. And speaking of Cherokee Ridge Golf Course, that is going to be our home course for, is this third annual? I want to say our third annual charity golf classic to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. That comes up on Monday, April 21st at Cherokee Ridge. And if you'd like to participate, email 977WZZN events 977-WZZN-events@gmail.com. Again, 977-WZZN-events@gmail.com. Individuals would be 200. A team of 4 would be 800. And I think we still have some spots available for whole sponsorships as well. If you'd like to participate, if you happen to be a business owner listening that would like to just grab some clubs for a business outing for there is
For a
prizes that
great
we're giving away.
Yeah, great cause.
Yes.
It is a fun tournament. Serve breakfast and a lunch after
right.
you play. And
Bubby's Diner
a
is
lot of
one of
great
the
prizes and
caterers.
a lot of great fellowship.
Yes. That's a perfect way to put it. Okay, South Memorial Chick-fil-A is going to cater breakfast. Bubby's Diner is going to cater lunch. And I mean, come on. Is the shotgun, are we getting the gun back this year? Do you know that?
I don't think Todd's allowed to have one.
No. That would be correct, but that's not what we're talking about.
That's perfect.
Good night, everybody.
Yeah. Someone please call Tom tomorrow, the Tom Abraham Show, from noon to 2. Ask him about the gun. I would love to hear his response to that. Havoc Hockey comes up next, right after this Sports Center timeout.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Sports Center.